In the shadow of Mount Sinai, the air was thick with anticipation and fear as the Israelites gathered. The thunder roared, lightning split the sky, and the mountains smoked, creating an atmosphere so intense that it seemed the very fabric of reality was being torn apart. In this moment, God spoke the 10 Commandments, laws that would shape the destiny of a people and echo through the corridors of history. These commandments, etched in stone and seared into the hearts of the Israelites, were not just rules but a covenant, a sacred agreement between a deity and a people. Among these commandments is one that has puzzled scholars and believers for millennia. I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. Exodus chapter 20, verses 5 to 6. This statement is both troubling and profound, raising questions about justice, mercy, and the nature of divine retribution. The idea of children bearing the consequences of their father's actions seems harsh and unfair. Yet it is a concept deeply rooted in ancient Hebrew thought. Many Hebrew exegetes have sought to explain this passage by emphasizing the phrase, "those who hate me," at the end of the clause. They argue that it is often the way of the world for sons to follow the path of their fathers, and as long as the offspring of the original offenders remain God's foes, they will be subject to retribution. This explanation, while providing some context, does not fully resolve the ethical dilemma. The ancient view, however, may offer a different perspective. It suggests that God's mercy is manifest in limiting retribution to only 3 or 4 generations, while extending kindness to 1,000 generations. This balance of justice and mercy is a central theme in the Hebrew Bible, reflecting a God who is both just and compassionate. To understand this commandment, we must delve into the broader context of the 10 Commandments and the cultural and historical backdrop of the Israelites. The 10 Commandments are not just a list of do's and don'ts. They are a foundational set of principles that guide the relationship between God and humanity. Each commandment is a thread in an intricate tapestry that weaves together moral, social, and religious obligations. The commandment about visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children is particularly challenging because it touches on the complex interplay between individual and collective responsibility. The Hebrew word eased, or cheesed in some translations, is crucial to understanding this commandment. It can be rendered as kindness or steadfast love, but it also carries the connotation of loyal performance of an obligation in an alliance or treaty. This dual meaning underscores the reciprocal nature of the covenant between God and the Israelites. God's eased is not just a one-sided act of benevolence, but a commitment that is both merciful and binding. The contrast between the limited retribution for the wicked and the extensive kindness for the loyal is a powerful statement about the nature of God's justice and mercy. The commandment also highlights the importance of generational responsibility. In ancient Near Eastern societies, family lineage was paramount, and the actions of one generation could have profound effects on the next. This is not unique to the Hebrew tradition. Many cultures have concepts of inherited guilt or blessing. The idea that children might bear the consequences of their parents' actions is a reflection of the interconnectedness of family and community. It also serves as a warning. The choices we make have far-reaching implications, and we must be mindful of the legacy we leave behind. However, this commandment is not an endorsement of blind determinism. The phrase, "those who hate me," introduces a critical condition. The retribution is not automatic, but contingent on the attitudes and actions of the descendants. If the children turn away from the path of their fathers and embrace God, they can break the cycle of iniquity. This is a message of hope and redemption, emphasizing that every generation has the power to choose its own path. The commandment about not taking the Lord's name in vain, Exodus chapter 20, verses 7, further illustrates the importance of integrity and respect in the covenant. The Hebrew verb nasa, to bear in this context, refers to the use of God's name in oaths or vows. The prohibition against using God's name in vain. Lashav means to do so falsely or frivolously. This commandment is not about avoiding casual mention of God's name, but about the serious implications of invoking divine authority. Oaths and vows were solemn commitments, and using God's name in such a context carried significant moral and spiritual weight. The commandment serves as a reminder that our words and actions should be grounded in truth and sincerity, especially when they involve sacred matters. The commandment to remember the Sabbath, Exodus chapter 20, verses 8, is another pivotal aspect of the Ten Commandments. The Sabbath is not just a day of rest, but a sacred observance that commemorates both God's creation and the liberation of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. The Hebrew word Shabbat means to cease or to rest, and the commandment to keep the Sabbath is a call to pause and reflect on the divine order of the world. The Sabbath is a day of freedom from labor, a time to reconnect with God and community. It is a weekly reminder that all of creation is a gift from God, and that human dignity is not defined by work, but by our relationship with the divine. The commandment to honor one's father and mother, Exodus chapter 20, verses 12, marks a transition from obligations to God to obligations to human beings. This commandment recognizes the foundational role of parents in shaping the next generation, and the importance of respect and gratitude within the family. The promise of a long life associated with honoring parents is not just a literal promise, but a metaphor for the benefits of maintaining strong, loving relationships. The family is the primary unit of society, and the health of the family is essential for the well-being of the community. The commandments against murder, Exodus chapter 20, verses 13, adultery, Exodus chapter 20, verses 14, theft, Exodus chapter 20, verses 15, and false witness, Exodus chapter 20, verses 16, are straightforward prohibitions that form the basis of a just and orderly society. These commandments address the fundamental moral issues of life: fidelity, property, and truth. They are not arbitrary rules, but principles that are essential for the coexistence and flourishing of a community. The commandment against coveting, Exodus chapter 20, verses 17, is particularly interesting because it deals with the internal state of desire. Coveting is a subtle form of sin that can lead to more overt actions. The Hebrew word Chamad means to desire or yearn for, and the commandment is a call to cultivate contentment and to resist the temptation to want what belongs to others. This commandment acknowledges the power of desire and the importance of self-control in maintaining harmony and peace. The Ten Commandments are not just a set of laws, but a framework for living a life that is aligned with God's will. They are a guide for individuals and a foundation for society, rooted in the principles of justice, mercy, and love. The commandment about visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children is a challenging reminder that our choices have consequences. But it is also a call to break the cycles of sin and to embrace the path of righteousness. The balance of justice and mercy in this commandment reflects the character of a God who is both holy and compassionate. A God who calls us to a higher standard of living. In the end, the Ten Commandments are a testament to the enduring power of divine wisdom and the enduring need for human responsibility. They are a call to live in a way that honors God and respects our fellow human beings, a call that resonates across time and culture. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, the principles embodied in these ancient commandments remain as relevant and necessary as ever. The thunder and lightning of Mount Sinai may have faded, but the message of the Ten Commandments continues to illuminate the path of righteousness for all who seek to walk in the ways of God.